It's been a little while since we've heard anything about the big Apple versus Epic court case because the decisions were announced and Apple won 9 out of 10 counts. This included things like Apple not being able to be declared a monopoly in the space, and generally speaking, Epic Games was not super thrilled about the results of that. However, there was one count where the judge mandated that Apple is going to have to allow for links to outside payment sources within apps. Previously, this is something that Apple banned. You can't direct customers to pay for an in-game or in-app currency elsewhere. You have to do it within the app itself, or else your game will be banned. Now, what has just happened is Apple has been trying to stay that order, and the judge just announced that she will be rejecting that stay, and Apple will have to comply to for these rules by December 9th. And so that gives them just under a month to prepare for this, and this could be a very, very game-changing thing in the entire mobile games ecosystem. So essentially, this is kind of what Epic did in the first place to get Fortnite thrown off the Apple Store. It doesn't go quite as far as they would like because with Fortnite, it was a more kind of seamless, integrated thing that they put in the game itself to allow players to pay Epic directly for V-Bucks, the Fortnite currency, as opposed to paying through Apple, which takes a 30% cut. The idea was Epic would avoid that 30% cut and then pass the savings on to the players. So they were essentially offering just two prices for the same amount of currency, the Epic one, which was lower, and then the Apple Store one, which was higher. In theory now, this means every game can set something up kind of like this. The external linking would have to kind of take somebody to a web page instead of allowing this purchase to just sort of go through with Apple's in-app payment systems. So it might be a little bit cumbersome in that sense. And yet, in theory, this is something that a ton of apps could take advantage of in order to get around the 30% Apple cut, which has been kind of at the root of all of this. Again, the court did not rule that Apple must remove that cut or reduce it or anything like that, but this offers a way around it, and they deemed it anti-competitive, that they were kind of these anti-steering rules where you can't steer consumers to external payment sources. This also kind of ties in with the great metaverse debates everyone has been having recently, and one of Epic's kind of core arguments here was that if Apple has this restrictive 30% cut on all in-app revenue, this is going to stifle entire ecosystems like the metaverse, the kind of grand amalgam of games and interactive virtual environments. And Apple has been kind of raked over the coals by a lot of people, including Facebook, who is a big metaverse proponent, now that they're called Meta especially, in terms of the cut that they're demanding. The case is not over. There's still appeals and stuff, and yet this is a significant change to the App Store that is coming as soon as a month from now, and a pretty big deal potentially if a lot of consumers are given the option to potentially pay a lower price for the same amount of currency that the game maker or app maker will offer to get around the Apple cut. We will have to see how this kind of works in practice and how bulky and unwieldy this might be if it has to be kind of linking to an external page and things like that, rather than being able to just, click a couple buttons on your iPhone and pay for something instantly. However, if it saves people money, they will probably go through the additional steps, and I'm sure these app makers will make it as clean as possible to try and make this work in order to avoid that Apple cut. If a significant amount of games and apps do this might be a very significant impact over the long term for Apple's massive App Store revenue, and we will have to see how that plays out once this actually goes into effect this December.